On the Labor website, one really important one for Australian business owners is Labor's plan to fix the NBN. Charley, I'm sure that you've been following this enjoyable NBN Co ride since, I think it was right announced in like 2009 or something like that, right? The decade that it has been, or like 13 years that it has been. So Labor's looking to expand the full fibre NBN network to 1.5 million premises. That means that over 10 million premises will actually have a gigabyte speeds by 2025. That is their plan that they're outlining. One fascinating thing that I didn't know is that Australia is actually currently 59th in the world on average broadband speeds, which I was quite taken aback by. I was like, yeah, that probably interests me and probably fascinates me more. But more importantly, back in 2009, they couldn't get major telcos in, which is why they had to go and create NBN Co. But now all of the major telcos are like running like really hard to try and get more people on outside of the NBN network as well. And then the final piece is they planned it to cost $43 billion, and I'm costing about $73 billion, which is like $28 billion over what they expected. And now they're looking to spend more, noting that they never outlined how much it's going to cost them to expand to the additional 1.5 million houses as well.
I'm just laughing. I'm laughing pretty hard here because I'm like, this is an example of like government execution done terribly, absolutely terribly.
And the plans kept changing. Like it went from like fibre to broadband and then it like bounced around and crazy.
Some things I think the private sector does much better than government, and projects like this is one of them. And I realize this is of our nation's interest, and I'm still very grateful that we are doing something here, but the approach clearly not great. So I do very much question, do we just give up on the NBN and just let Elon do his thing and we all jump on Starlink?
Yes. I look at this, right? And it was interesting because all of these interesting signs are here. So the NBN Co, obviously the government helped fund the entirety of it. But in like tall apartment buildings, like where I am in Melbourne, what happened was like the TPGs of the world came in and said, hey, like you can't only have NBN Co as the only provider because that is a monopoly and you can't have monopolies in Australia. And the ACCC actually said, you're right. And so you've got like TPG and all that now connecting fibre to buildings, right? And NBN Co's like, oh no, there was a lot of revenue that we're going to generate from here where you needed to use this. And they've got like this Telecommunications Act that like stipulates how much of NBN Co must be used and what must be required and all these things. And all of these major telcos are coming through and actually providing something better. So the innovation that it's actually pushing is a good thing, albeit it's cost us an absolute arm and a leg to get there.
Fascinating. Do you know what's interesting is I'm really sensing a theme throughout all of this, and I'm sure you're picking up the same one here, but it's like the housing policy we mentioned first is like pushing obviously major regions. I look at the NBN here and going, it's particularly the regions that are going to do well at this. And if I was going to like look at the undertone here, is I suspect that we're going to see a lot of like more work from home and work remotely, the ability to work online with better NBN. I actually, my view and opinion is that over the next 5 years is that that's the big shift that's going to happen. This is technology that's going to enable more people to work from home. In turn, more people are going to be able to afford to buy in these regions, and we're going to see these cities just expand in size. So it wouldn't surprise me if, like, I know for people that are in Victoria, it's like, will Geelong and Melbourne just be connected? Will that just all be one giant city?
Just one big metro. Geelong becomes Metro Melbourne. But it actually unlocks quite a bit more because I was thinking about this. I'm like, what would change if everybody had 1 gig a second internet? And I've talked to quite a lot of my mates out of the US, and I just get so fascinated around how their houses are just incorporating this IoT or the Internet of Things. Like friends of mine have got full rooms dedicated to VR gaming, right? They've got all of these different things, like they've got buttons in their laundry that they push the button and stuff just comes in from Amazon, etc. And like all of this, the second you remove this internet barrier and it's just everything's just connected at lightning speeds, all this innovation just comes straight through. But you think about it from now if you've got those networks, well, self-driving cars actually have a support network. You've actually got all of these AI things that will start getting unlocked, virtual worlds getting unlocked, all of these Web3, blockchain, et cetera, that were all impacted by the inability of having this internet speed that could support it. where only if you had this in the top sort of 5-10% of people who have like really, really fast internet, they were only there for them. That now, to your point, is being expanded to everybody, where this is now the norm. So if you're producing these technology goods or software or anything like that, then your market is just growing, especially if it's direct to consumer.
I think this is a net benefit for business in general. This is a net benefit. I really do think if you're a business owner, to see the government investing in better like railways of internet infrastructure, you win out of this hugely. Because every business uses the internet, even if it's just for banking in some way. And better internet means, as I said, innovation, driving productivity, all the right things. From a business point of view, I'm really for it.
Now, do you see them being able to execute this? Do you see this being, because all of these policies that they're putting in place is like the next couple of years, we've sort of seen NBN sort of drag on. Even if they were to sort of fall down and not be able to execute against what they're hoping to execute against, etc., do you still see this as being a net benefit now? Or do you see this as we need to wait a couple of years before we start reaping the rewards?
Do I think they will get done what they've written down? No. Will they get some progress done and Elon and other things will take up the rest? Yes. And just for anyone that doesn't know, Elon's delivering internet via satellite. So it doesn't need any cables or infrastructure within the ground. You literally set up a dish on your property and you can connect to his satellite infrastructure that he's, I think, going to be far more better at executing than the Australian government. No offense, government. He's got a better track record of getting things done.
A little offense.
And just a little bit. Point being, though, will there be progress? Absolutely. And this is one of those things where, again, and like I don't want to be harping the same point over and over again. If there's better internet infrastructure in regions and that enables more people to work in higher paying jobs in those regions will do really well.
Yep.
Now, Grant, for you and I look at this right now and go, we can work from anywhere. The only limiter is going to be the internet. Now, if one city has really good internet infrastructure and another doesn't, I know which one we're picking.
Correct.
Yeah, so again, I'd be looking at this as a potential thing that Australia, just like from an investment point of view, enabling these regions to take on more of this, I think is really cool. One of the things I just can't work out, though, is why more regional towns, major regions particularly, aren't trying to attract internet talent. Because you've got to think about this, is if a city said to me, look, Charlie, I'm going to give you a free house. Come and move to this area. It's like, well, why would they do that? Is because I don't take a job from their community. I bring my own job. And then the other side of it is I'm going to spend money in that town and, like I'll buy things. I spend money. So it's like I would love to see more regional towns do a push to attract internet talent and then ultimately create one of our own Silicon Valleys.
We can continue to dream. One day we're just looking for a reason to not live in Victoria or like Metro Melbourne. any reason will do. And then I do just want to jump on that point around like the personal wealth. Like there's obvious significant benefits for like your business owners because of internet connectivity. You no longer have people saying I can't work because my internet's down. Like the stability and the speeds is going to be a huge improvement. But your point around sort of personal wealth and again, this theme of sort of regional rural areas just getting propped up and essentially being brought up to the same pace that a lot of sort of your built up metro areas have had for a while, where they now have the same ability to earn and do all of those things, which means, again, for property, as we've been talking about quite a lot across here, I'm pretty happy with a lot of the places that I've gone because I know that infrastructure is going to continue to get installed, whether it be internet, etc. Which means now if someone needs to live in a regional area for work, maybe they work in the government sector in mines or whatever it might be, the partner can just actually still get another job that might be working online. They might actually be the person behind the camera of a dental industry. They might just be in Australia, for example. But I actually look at this to be extremely strong from an investment perspective to say, even if this does take them a couple of years to roll out and Elon Starlink takes a while, etc., this is now unlocking it. Like I know a lot of people where their wives had to work in the mines with them and they just were stay-at-home mums, right? Like they were just there. And now it just unlocks this opportunity where up in the Pilbara, you might go and have gigabyte internet and you go, great, now you can have two incomes. That's fantastic, right?
I do really think, and I'd love your opinion on this. Like, I read this and I'm overwhelmingly positive on these things. But do you think, like, I look at this right now and I'm going, whatever's happened in the last 2 years has been a catalyst of change in a huge way, a huge way. And it's like the undertones of this that I've already been highlighting here is like, I think this is like regions boom. Really, like the government is very much saying towards that. I think that the way we work has changed forever.
It's not going back.
No, and like bolstering the NBN only supports that because more people can do that, right? And then also like driving from technology point of view, like they're pushing us to innovate and really take advantage of these things. So I'm really excited by this. The only mistake I can really see business owners making is to try and like, no, regress back to the old ways.
Yeah. Yep. No, let's go. Let's all go into the office.
Yeah, I think it's a bad attitude.
Yeah.
I think you want to ride this and get in front of it. I think overwhelmingly in the people I've spoken to, especially those with young families, they want to work from home. Yeah. They want to have a better work-life balance. They don't want to be doing these massive drives into city commutes, and they dislike that massively. So my view is like all of this is going in this direction. And if you're a business owner, like get on board.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into being a full stack business owner, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.